our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, the weary world rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees and hear the angel voices. O night divine, O night when Christ was born. O night divine, O night divine. Truly he taught us to love one another. His law is love, and his gospel is peace. Chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, let all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim.
Hi, thank you for spending a few minutes with me here today. You know, it was a couple of years ago, just about this time of year, that I decided to take a little bit closer look at the word joy in my Bible. It had been kind of a tough year. My dad had passed away, and we had spent the subsequent summer months sort of tending to the things of his life. So personally, it was a good time for me to be able to take that closer look at the word joy. And in the concordance of my Bible, there were 207 references to the word joy, almost enough so that I could take one verse each day for the next 7 months. And I did discover joy. I found out that many of the references to joy were in the context of restoration, a situation where the Lord had restored someone or something, or there was some promise concerning restoration, and then the anticipation and the expectation or even celebration of something broken made new, and sometimes even better than it used to be. Verses like Nehemiah chapter 12, verse 43, and on that day they offered great sacrifices, rejoicing because God had given them great joy. And what was that joy? It was a gift of personal experience that God had made a way for the walls of Jerusalem to be rebuilt, walls of protection, of security and identity, that they were a people marked by God right then and forever. God had rebuilt what had been destroyed and was already setting them up in it, anticipating goodness to come. That's joy. And then there's Psalm 66, verse 1. Shout with joy to God, all the earth. And why are we to shout with joy? If you read the rest of Psalm, you can see it records what the Lord has done. In this case, the making of a way for the enslaved Israelites to be free from Egypt, and then that escape from Pharaoh's pursuit when God parted the Red Sea. You remember the promised land that follows. It was David in this case, recalling their situation of the Israelites and their restoration, even as he was perhaps recalling the many times when he had escaped and God had restored him from his enemies. Joy. The expectation and experience of God's nature and work of restoration in our lives here and now. And lastly, John 16, verse 22. Now is your time of grief. But I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. Even the grief we have in loss, whether of a person or something else in our lives, is undergirded in the joy that God gives us that can never be taken away. This joy, the knowledge that even in the deepest of our losses and our disappointments, God is already at work, making new and eternal restoration, giving us reason to expect the best, to look forward, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that God has, is, and will continue to put together whatever it is that has been hurt or broken or even wiped away. As children of God, no one can take that joy away because no one can change God's nature to make new and make perfect. It's just who he is. Now that's joy. In the face of your sorrow, in the face of your enemies, or in the face of the loss of your life as you've known it to be, to know and expect that God is already doing a work of restoration, making a new future for you in your life on earth and eternally. It's joy. Now, as you go into time of prayer, consider the places in your life where you are experiencing loss or disappointment. Share those with the Lord. Be honest about how you're really feeling in those places where you desire restoration so much. And allow him now to minister to you, to reveal the places in yourself where he is already at work. And then allow him to do that work of renewal, that work of joy in you, and the places you need it the most. As you pray, hear the words of Jesus from John 15, verse 11. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be full. Amen.